I'd like a torta con huevos a la mexicana, por favor.
Well, what a coincidence. That's exactly what we're having. Don't you just love a good torta for breakfast?
I like a good torta anytime. I could eat them all day.
What a wonderful idea.
Isn't this cool?
It is really cool, but I've got something even more amazing to show you.
A torta stand?
Well, it's not just any torta stand. I mean, this is Lagunilla Market, Sunday morning, downtown Mexico City. It's a market that's totally famous for being, well, sort of like a flea market, antiques fair, and they got some pretty good food, too. In fact, this place is famous for its tortas of bacalao.
You mean salt cod?
That's the stuff. You want to split one?
No. I want my own.
Okay, order it.
Dos tortas. Bolillos are even better than the ones that we get in Chicago.
They certainly are. Well, the bacalao, salt cod simmered with potatoes and tomatoes, and then of course there's the olives and the raisins, almonds, and pickled chilies.
I'm in heaven.
Oh man, am I too. And just to think, our Torta-Thon's just getting started. Okay, this is Tortas Don Polo, and it's the second stop on our Insiders Mexico City Torteria tour.
I love it. It's very retro Mexico City.
It is. Let's give it a taste.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas
Hola.
tardes. Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Love this place. You know, it's been around since the 50s, and they've got that really cool juice bar, so you can have a juice or a licuado that go along with your beautiful torta. Now, this style of torta is called a torta a la plancha. And first of all, it starts with a flat bun, the one that's called a telera, with the 3 humps. It's split and buttered, and then laid on a hot griddle to toast right alongside the sizzling filling.
Yeah, it makes my mouth water. What do you think you're gonna get?
I've decided I'm gonna have the Torta Cubana. It's their specialty with the sliced roast pork leg, ham, and cheese.
Sounds so good.
What about you?
I think I'm gonna have chorizo sausage with Oaxacan quesillo cheese.
Sounds great. Joven, por favor, 2 tortas. Vamos a querer una torta cubana y uno de chorizo, los 2 con quesillo, con picante y todo.
Gracias.
beautiful, huh?
Oh,
I love that sort of smear of beans on the bottom bun, the avocado creaminess.
so much is the pickled jalapenos.
They're super delicious.
Yes. You know what? I just love it all. Well, what's next?
Now that's the spirit. Well, it wouldn't be a Torta-Thon without one final stop at El Pialadero.
Pialadero. No, that's not a word I've heard very much.
I don't think most people in Mexico City have either, because at this place they define it right on the menu. It means cattle roper.
Which would explain the unusual outdoor seating.
Yeah, it would. You see, the Garcia Gonzalez family that own this place, they're from Guadalajara, which is the rodeo capital of Mexico, but it's also the torta capital of Mexico for one type of torta, and that's the torta ahogada.
Oh, that famous drowned torta.
The one that's all smothered in sauce. To build the torta, the first thing that they do is to slice into a virote. It's a long, skinny roll, very crusty, that they bring in from Guadalajara, and then smear in peruano beans that have been cooked and mashed with chorizo sausage. Then in goes the slow-cooked, thin-sliced beef. Then they dip it in arbol chili sauce, super spicy. And then they ladle on tomato broth to cover the whole thing. The top, a little bit of slightly pickled onions flavored with Mexican oregano.
So what's with the glove?
Well, these things can get a little bit messy, and you kind of have to just dig right in.
Okay.
That are messy. Oh my goodness. But they're so delicious. Don't you? You got it? Okay, so we had tortas for breakfast, tortas for lunch, and well, I thought we'd just go 3 for 3. And I'm gonna do a simple summertime supper for some of Lanie's friends, and to tell you the truth, I'm gonna use the grill to make these tortas with.
I think we've got us covered.
It looks like you bought out the whole bakery.
Well, yeah, it's a Torta-Thon here.
Okay, so we're gonna do some grilled steak tortas, grilled zucchini tortas, a couple of sauces, and well, a couple nice salads to go with it. What do you think?
Ooh, deluxe. Well, we should get cooking. I'll
think
start.
so. Okay, Lanie, open this can of tomatoes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna open this can of Chipotle chilies, and I'm gonna put a 3 of them here into the food processor. Dump in that can of tomatoes.
Here.
Okay, grab a little of that oregano to sprinkle in here.
Okay, got it.
A little cider vinegar. Sprinkle in a little salt. Okay, now all we need is some garlic. I'm gonna crush 3 cloves here. Add those to the food processor. And now we're just gonna run the processor till it's smooth.
So what are we gonna call this?
I think we'll call it Chipotle steak sauce, and it needs to simmer here for about 15 minutes for all those flavors to come together. I'll turn on the burner. You light it for me, if you would, please. There we go. We'll turn it down to kind of a medium heat, and now it's on to the avocado mayonnaise. Okay, you measure out 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. I'm going to take the flesh out of an avocado here. Then I'm gonna grab cilantro here and roughly chop some up. And we're ready to combine everything into the food processor.
Awesome.
Okay, now on to the next preparation. Why don't you open one of those cans of black beans
Okay.
while I chop up 3 cloves of garlic here. We'll make some pretty simple black beans to spread on the bottom of the torta. Now what we'll do is to heat some oil in a skillet, and then add the chopped garlic to it, stir it around for a minute. Dump in the beans and then mash them until they're almost smooth. Now to meat and zucchini. Okay, I'm going to ask you to unwrap the skirt steak while I slice up this zucchini. I'm going to slice it into nice thick slices for easy grilling. Each one can go into 4 slices, I think. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is to oil and salt and pepper all of this. So if you want to grab the oil sprayer and the salt and pepper, that's great. How about if I spray and use salt and pepper? Very good. That looks really good. Okay, now flip them over. Looks beautiful. Now on to the meat. Just a little bit more pressure. That looks nice. Another little round. There we go. Okay, now to slide this back into the refrigerator. We can leave the other one out. Okay, now on to the bread. A couple of baguettes here. Move that over there. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to slit them lengthwise like you would for a sandwich, but it's a huge, huge sandwich.
Yeah, just for one person?
No, I think we're going to cut it up into 4 pieces, so it actually is going to make 4 sandwiches. Now, if you could just go at it like this and just pull most of that soft bread out of it there. Okay, now while you're doing that part, I'm going to slice up this red onion that we can just grill right alongside everything else. Oh, it is so delicious. Okay, let's put these guys back together so that they don't dry out at all. I'm going to put that over there with that. And if you could go into the kitchen and get the butter lettuce, and we'll use that for one of the salads.
Well, what are we using for the other one?
I'll tell you in a second.
Okay.
Now, these little greens here, they're very delicate. So the strategy is that the more delicate the greens, the lighter the dressing should be. Now that butter lettuce, well, it could take a richer and creamier dressing. But what do I mean exactly by delicate greens? Well, if you're a grocery store shopper, then you're going to be choosing the spring mix, or what's sometimes called the mesclun greens. Maybe you want to choose some baby spinach as a tender green. But if you're a gardener, well, the options are endless. You could grow little lettuces, any kind of lettuce, and pick it when it's about that big, or you could do beet greens or little baby Swiss chard. What I've got in front of me right now is 4 different beds of mustard greens, specialty mustard greens. This is the little ruby streaks. This is golden frills. Over here we've got some Mizuna greens, and what's coming up in that far bed is red mustard. All of them have this wonderful spiciness. I'm going to harvest a little bit more of them and then head into the kitchen to make a very light lime and cilantro vinaigrette. Okay, I've just washed off my lettuce.
Me too.
Okay, well, let's set those over there and go on for the dressing. I'm going to ask you to make the creamy dressing to go on your butter lettuce. So
Okay.
you're going to need some olive oil, some rice vinegar, queso añejo, and I think you're going to need a bowl to mix them in there.
Spatula.
Okay, while you do that, I am going to juice my limes.
Now, how much mayo do I put in?
3 tablespoons. That'll make it creamy.
And finally, how much cheese?
2 to 3 tablespoons. Just
Just
to
gonna-
sort of, yeah, just put a little bit of it in there. That looks like a little bit more.
A little more.
Okay, that's great.
Okay.
Now give it just a little bit of salt and then whisk it up. Now you're gonna have to whisk it really vigorously for it all to come together really well. Now why don't you give it a taste and see if
Okay.
you think it's got enough salt in it. Looks good.
Mmm.
Good?
Delicious.
Is it got a nice creaminess about
Yes.
it? Okay. So I'm going to do the other dressing here. I've got about 1/3 of a cup of fresh squeezed lime juice. And I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of olive oil. Okay, so tell me, do your friends like spicy? Medium,
Medium, I think.
spicy. Okay, well, I'm going to chop up some serrano for this. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. They really are kind of wimps, aren't
Yes.
they? Okay, so I'm going to scrape that now into the oil and lime juice. Now hand me that cilantro. I'm going to chop up some cilantro to go in there as well. And could you put in a teaspoon of salt there?
Right to you?
That's great. I'm chopping this really fine too, so its flavor gets distributed completely through our dressing. Now that all also is going to go into the dressing jar here. Now how about some lime zest? This is going to give us that really beautiful lime flavor. We've got all of our ingredients.
Looks good.
So I'm going to put the top on this
Ooh, the
and
fun part.
shake it really well. Do you want to shake it or do you want me to shake it?
I think you should shake it right now.
Okay. Well, just in a couple of minutes, all of these flavors will go together really well. Okay, we've got the 2 dressings done. All the rest of the prep is ready. So what time is it?
It's torta time.
It's here, food is here. These have grilled zucchini and cheese and black beans.
These
and
have steak and onions, and it's got cheese and black beans and all that. Oh, okay, good. Here you go.
Go ahead and take one if you like it. Nice.
Yeah, she's like a regular on it.